That's fine. Really, it is. Hey guys, and how's it going? I picked on the side of the road a free pile, and one of the things that was in there was this bag containing what I believe is a carpet shampooer. Or what was a carpet shampooer, and somebody decided to have their way with. So I figured it'd be a fun thing to maybe possibly do something a little different on a video on and see either what happened to it, if we can figure that out, and or possibly try to save it. Without further ado, let's go have a little bit of fun, do a little bit of wrenching and whatever else kind of comes along with something like this, and see what we can make of it. All right, let's get set up, turn some wrenches. So I don't know if it has all the bits and pieces. It looks like somebody took care to try to keep it all together. Let's get rid of some of the larger parts of it, and we'll start to look more on this electrical stuff that is over here and see if we can kind of figure out what's going on. Plus I'll bag up. It looks like there's a bunch of screws and springs and washers and that kind of stuff we'll put in a cup, and we'll drag that over and plug it in, see what happens. It's like a jigsaw puzzle for motorheads. Oh, this is gonna go well. More screws are puking out of it here and there. Let's go grab them. And it kind of looks like they dug their way to the motor, and that is not looking very healthy. It's like somebody tried shampooing sheetrock dust. They could definitely see that being an issue. I don't know if these are like cooling fans or something supposed to spin on it. Just a bunch of like hair, fuzziness sticking out of it. I wonder if it got used like a vacuum cleaner instead of a shampooer. And it sucked up all the crap first. We can get our fingers in there. It turns, but a lot of drag. That's straight through with a fan on the other end. Let's try to figure out what we got for switches on it. What would turn it on? I think there's a foot thing right here, maybe. Yeah, there's a button right there for on and off. Let's plug in an extension cord from afar. Let's see what happens. All right, I see button in is probably on. It's my guess. I'm not sure of that, but let's go. That's got two spots. Let's go see anything happens. You ready? I'm not gonna lean against the bench just in case. Well, there's that. It did spin. That's a good sign. I don't know if we ripped any wires out. Let's try to figure out some way to kind of clamp that so it doesn't want to go jumping around. I wouldn't say it's my best clamping job, but let's just go see what happens this time. Ooh, that sounds nasty. Well, I think that might be part of our problem. I know I have it so that air can't draw through it. I would think that's what it's supposed to do. I'm thinking inside here is like a bigger propeller. Smoke's coming out. Is that a bad sign? Let's just see if this thing's cooked. Hold on. Yeah, fire and smoke is coming out of it. I don't know if it showed up on camera. Oof, yeah. There's a, it's wafting by the light. Yeah, that can't be good. So, if we can't hurt it, it's already pretty much a junk item. Let's see if we can get this body away from the carcass that it's connected to. Maybe we can try and, I don't know if it comes apart or not. Kind of, hold on a second, we get these clamps out of the way. That's better. There's nothing plugged in right now, but yeah, let's, my guess, it has to be something like, what is the purpose of this, right? Maybe it's like a big propeller or a fan inside there. It's just so gummed up that it can't move. My guess is it's kind of glued together though. I don't think it's meant to be taken apart, but we'll be the judge of that. So we got to get wires off of it so we can disconnect it from the rest of that. What do we got? You've got a white. Looks like we could probably just unplug them. Are they soldered or not? I'm gonna eyeball that. These are brushes, I'm sure. Let me get the 3 wires off of it and we'll bring it over to the bench and we'll work on it there. Looks like the windings are getting a little hot too. What do you think? Think there's a big kind of like propeller or something inside here? Yeah, so I tried pulling these apart a little bit. I think these are brushes and nothing is just plugged on. They are all kind of either crimped over. But looking over here, the wires going to it, they have some crimps on them. So I'm just gonna go probably cut these free, and in the slight possibility that it comes back to life, we could always repair it here. And then there's the hot lead is here, and that's the fuse. Get that apart too. All right, let's get a better look at what we got without its appendages hanging all over it. So, yeah, you can barely turn that. So my guess is, I'm not sure if air went in through here and came out of here. It'd be kind of my guess the way these ports are kind of clogged, or vice versa. So I'm saying the fan blades probably come all the way to here, but I would think the factory probably pressed this together. I don't know if we can get. You would think it. Worst case, we take a whiz wheel, we try cutting it, right? And I think this fan is just for cooling the motor. I don't think it has any, I don't think it passes through it. See if I can stab myself in the hand. That's just breaking away. It is. Yeah, the plastic is just kind of falling apart underneath it. I wonder if we take a whiz wheel and we try cutting it. Let me try a little more. Yeah, those are just breaking out. I don't see any crimps, but again, it was when it was in the factory, they probably just pressed it all together. My guess is that plastic under it probably goes to about right here. Let's take a whiz wheel. We'll cut it. Maybe we'll even cut it in a couple of spots. See if we can get it to kind of open up a little bit and then pull off of there. If you disagree, say something now. Forever hold your peace. Let's go. Right where those tabs are, maybe. Let's do an exploratory one. See if we learn anything from the first cut. Yeah. Probably a flat screwdriver will work better than a pick. Yeah, it kind of seems what it looks like, huh? Can I get under it and... Can we get up in there and pry? There we go. Something's going. Something's making noise too. There you go. Good. Yeah. Kind of what we thought. That's a funky looking fan though, huh? I wonder if it's free now, if it's still binding. Nah, it's still tight. I wonder if it sucks something in. Let's go take a little impact gun. We'll take that propeller off of there. See what that looks like. Wonder if it's in the motor itself. It like right there, it's free. It's tight going that direction and free going this way. I wonder if it sucked a brush in or something. Like the brushes are wore out and they turn sideways. Because it's tight that way and I can spin it backwards, it's free. It's kind of starting to see what it's like. Let's do these come off? See like little tabs holding these. Yeah, something's moving. Oh, the top comes off. Check that out. Good. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't know how much use that thing has on it. Doesn't look like it's that old to burn up a set of brushes and eat them. Unless it's unless this was like a sheetrock or something, and that sheetrock ate up the insides of it. Yeah, it turns. It's free one direction and gets tight on the other. That's what it's got to be. Let me how do you think these are held in? Let's go pick at those. Let's get rid of this. I figure it's got like little fingers that are holding it, right? Yeah. I think the wires not allowing. Let's get some wire cutters. We'll cut the tie wraps off. So you need enough room to pull the brushes out. Careful not to cut the wires under it, just in case. I don't think it's going back together, but let's see. Oh, that's a lot of brush on that one. Is it still doing the same thing? Yeah. I'll try this one. Careful. We cut one of those copper windings. We're definitely out of the game. Yeah, there. You get room to work with. Yeah, that wire does not go that far. Don't think we're going to have the same room. That one seems to be, you're going to get it. You're going to have enough to work with it. Yeah. Both brushes seem like they're okay. It is still doing that same thing. One direction, not the other. I'm going to go take a little bit of time. Let's go put these back in, because they are not our issue. That won't go. Another little tab won't pop. Come on. Let me work with these. And we'll go back to what we're going to do. Let's go get that nut out of the center of it. I'm probably going to put like a rubber band or something around these for now. I don't know if we have to take these back out again. I grabbed some flathead screwdrivers for stabbing and probing, just in case. All right, so we got, my guess is that's 10 millimeters, just a little impact. That was on there hard, huh? And what's behind there? Nothing. Is that spacer on top? I think it was, right? Yeah. We got one on the bottom too. That kind of looks not in the center, does it? Like a bushing heat. Did the motor heat up and see how it's touching on that side? Yeah, I see a bunch of like burnt plastic coming out of it. Right. I wonder if there's a bearing up there that is just cooked or gone. So if that, yeah, you can see it. It's sitting on an angle. The shaft is on an angle like that. Well, let's keep tearing it apart. We got nothing to lose, right? Was this blade hitting? Sitting on an angle? I don't see any rub marks, do you? Alright, let's yeah, you can't even turn it backwards. It grinds. That's probably the direction it's trying to go. How do we separate that from this? What's attached to that? You got any screws going down anywhere? Now that I taped up those wires, let's untape them. Does that just pop off like the other section did? I don't see. I'm gonna go look under the scope a little bit, see if we can go find anything. So I looked at it with a better light and I pulled the brush out of it, and there's a screw running down right inside there. Let's go see if we can get this propeller out of our way. I don't know if you can clamp the other end of it. And it looks like it spins counterclockwise to take off. Let me go grab some vice grips. Blasphemy, I know. And looking at the threads, it looks like we need to turn it opposite what you think you would. And I don't know if you can see down the sidebar. There's one of the screws, and the other one should be under the other brush. We should be able to lift this motor up off of that plastic base. That's why I didn't go through the trouble putting those brushes in. I go get a Phillips that I didn't get out. I bet you it doesn't even have a bottom bearing. It's probably metal on plastic or something. What do you think something like this they would build for like runtime? 50 hours? I'm just guessing. I don't know. You know, they run it and it burns up at a certain point and they're like, well, that's good. Lasts too long. They're like, we gotta take a little bit away. We gotta keep them buying. We are in further. That's the whole thing. You get a little spring washer. You remember where all this goes, right? Can we... What's in that? Let's go around. Will that come out of there? So there was a bearing in the bottom. There you go. It's like a bearing in the bottom that is locked up. So the bearing locked up and spun in the housing, and spinning in the housing is what made the smoke. So that's what happened. I wonder if because, yeah, I bet your water got in it, being what it is. Let's get a light over it. I bet your water getting up over it sat on this bearing. Yeah, that's the one that's tight. That one spins free. I wonder if that is like a rollerblade bearing. Alright, so we have one of those spring washers on each side. Let's go take that one off. I wonder if that's like a rubber seal. That's the seal out of the bearing, isn't it? Yeah, that's that. Puking out of it. So this is... If we fix this bearing, if we get one of these bearings, would it come back to life? Let's go flip it over, see if that case is all blown out on us. Seems like it'd be okay. Let's go see if we can press this bearing off there. Try to find a bearing, just for the sake of seeing if we could try to save it, huh? Oh, the more the bearing's falling apart. Yeah, is it missing some of the balls too? Actually, it's missing. It's supposed to be a cage that separates these. That's gone, so that's why it's probably why it's locking up. You turn it one direction, and the balls are just kind of crashing over whatever's there. Let me see if we can get that apart. So in this cabinet over here, I have an assortment of bearings like you would not believe. Every drawer, like they're all different sizes, and camp followers and bearings, and whether I have one of these, I don't know. I might not. So I'm gonna go pick and hunt. These little guys. Let's go try one of these little boxes over here. Can't be that lucky, can we? No shit. Good. I'm not sure if that's it or not. It's I don't know if it's metric. I don't know if that's gonna press down there or not. The OD looks kind of right. Huh. Alright, let's go see if we can get this off of here, the trashed one. And another way, there's a roll of something. These might be seals. It pays to be a hoarder. Oh, that's a bushing of some sort. Alright, we know there's some other small ones in there. And I know I have a cup of them. What's this pack right here? I already got one, so that looks even. That's a smaller diameter. These don't have seals on them and they're too fat. I don't know that one. Yeah, these don't have seals on them. So whatever took it out, which is water the first time. No, it's too big. And we need one with the shields on the side of them. I don't even know if that's going to be a good one. These are metal instead of plastic. All right, let's get that apart. Is that worn? Right there, or is that that's balancing? Did it rub? Yeah, that's for balancing it. Probably have to come up with something more elaborate, but I wonder if we can get it. Yeah, we're not gonna be able to clear the Lysin anyway. We can catch an edge. Let's try it. I think if we put more pressure on that, I'm going to bend something. I don't know if we get like a little puller or something over it. I bent it now. It's already racked. We need the smallest, the world's smallest wheel puller. So I found a skinny wrench that would fit behind the bearing, and then I got this. I think this is a battery post puller, possibly. I ram that on the edges of the wrench, and then it's got a collar that kind of locks the two ends. It doesn't want to spread apart. Yeah, let's go see what that does. Let's give it a couple of drops of oil. Kind of wondering too if that got really hot, if it kind of seized itself to the shaft too. So let's go see if anything happens. Something's going. You gotta watch we don't bust one wire. The motor's dead, so I think we're gonna. What's that? I think we're gonna have to regroup. Take that nut off of there, maybe. It's like a stop clip or something, huh? Let's see if we can get the nut off. I was using it to try to protect the threads, you know. And this might take me a second to get it set back up again. Now we got nothing to center that. You know what I mean? We got nothing to center the tit there. We're almost there, so. Ah, you sucker. All right, I'm gonna go work on that. I don't want to bash the threads like what I was doing. Maybe I could put the nut on the other way and use it for a guide. Did I already kill the threads? I don't know. Not that we can't pile them, clean them up, but I don't want to beat them up anymore. I get it off. We made it that far. Yeah, I flipped the nut over. Let's see if that'll do it. Further. I don't know what else can, because it's up against the nut. Let me, can't be much holding that left on there. I'm gonna go try what we did before. I'm gonna put the soft jaws back in the vise and see if we can just kind of pinch the last little bit like we started, walk it off that last little bit. Or how about we get a smaller wrench on it. We try hitting it with a hammer right there. There you go. Off, I say. You damage anything? Oh, careful, the top of that is we bent the shaft, we're kind of screwed. Let's go press the other one back on, and we'll spin it, and we'll see how it looks. Possibly the threads on top again got a little boogered, as long as you get the nut back on. So the one that we're putting on there is probably from the 60s. This is sewing machine oil. Let's see if we can get that to work down inside there. It's more of a dust. It's not going to keep liquid out. You can actually see it kind of puking a little bit of material out. So let's give it a fighting chance over the other one. What if it maybe it leaked or something and leaked down to the bearing? You would think that would be in a drier area. So that feels pretty good. Let's go see if we can find like a deep socket that we can put this whole thing in a vise and just kind of put a deep socket on this side and close the vise up on it. Well, I hope it's the right ID. We're going to find out. We got room? I have to start with a shorter socket. How far is this vise open? Let's can we get a pad in there? Try to protect the threads on the other side. Is that it? Let's go try it. There we go. Got a view? Wanna watch? Touch that clip, no more pressure than that. Yeah. Get the pressure off, make sure our bearing still works. Please. Oh yeah. Spins like butter. Spins like molasses. Now they both feel good. Let's I don't see any wobble in your shaft. It happens. Alright, you gotta try to go figure out how to get all this stuff reassembled. And I'm gonna go do my best. I'll jump ahead if I find anything funky, I'll show you. But let me try getting it assembled to just enough so that the motor will run. Then we'll go from there. I highly recommend you don't touch any of those. And I'm not going to either, and or the vise. We're just gonna try try plugging it in. See what we get. Back up. Sounds better. Let it run for a second. It's screaming. It's got fire coming out of it. Out of the brushes. Those brushes are smoking, boy. Pick it back up again. I wonder if I put the brushes on the wrong side and they're breaking themselves in. Plus it doesn't have the load of the fan on it. Yeah, I wonder if I have the brushes backward. Would that even make a difference? The only difference, well, they're always facing upwards, right? That part was already up. So if that one was over there, no, it would still make the same rotation on it. And not like I'm running the brush backwards. Feeding the other side of it, would that do anything? I wonder if it's just the fact that it's over revving because there was no fan on it. No fans for the drag. Did we cook it? I don't know. It's unplugged, right? Yeah, it's hot. Yeah, when it's over revving, I'm gonna try putting the fans on. I don't know how we're gonna be able to hold on to it though. What's your thoughts? Yeah, a little fan on this side and then the bigger fan. And it was in a housing too. Let's just put it on. We'll see if we get anything different out of it. I don't know. Is there anything that triggers those? Like, is there anything in the motor that triggers what side that's on? Like, are we? I think we wouldn't spin it all though, would you? Yeah, I don't know if it was enough. I might try switching them. Talk to me. Give me some kind of input. Let's go see what happens if I can swap those brushes around. They might not even reach. All right, so how many were yelling at me saying that you're doing it wrong? I went back and looked at the footage. What do I have wrong? The middle section of the engine motor is upside down. These sections of wire come out of the top, not out of the bottom. So having said that, I wonder if the brushes would rub the other, I'm not sure. But let's go undo that, flip that over, and see if we get any better result. Yeah, it's looking a little bit better because there's a cap that goes over it and those wires went through it, not under it. And we gotta kind of jack these little tabs up a little so they stay locked in. I don't know. It's that one. Alright. And then these were kind of like tie wrapped together with that little piece of insulation over them. Yeah, these are drawn in with some tie wraps and held in place. That looks better. I'll try plugging it in again. You can let the smoke out again. Poor thing. We spinning? Yes, we are. Let's at least put one of the fans on so it can fly off and cut me. Look at that. Didn't we grab it with vice grips to lock it? Plus it'll help cool the motor too. That's the whole job of that thing, is to blow air across it, and we weren't doing it. Let's go get an extension cord. And our wire's all good. Ready? Back up a little. Just as sparky. If anything, worse. Think we're missing anything? Let's let it run. Let's see what happens. Go plop that little black cover back on it, which was this one. Let's go pop that on it, and we'll help direct the air over the motor, and we'll just let it run for a little bit. It's either going to burn up or those brushes are going to break in. It may have been spinning the wrong direction, and it kind of chewed them up. Now we got to chew them back up the other direction. I don't know. Or it's just cooked from being cooked beforehand. Go plug that back in and let it run. Well, they're pretty long brushes, so. Got decent airflow going across it. I'm gonna let that run for a few minutes to see what we get. So that's been running about 10 minutes. It's not hot at all. Good. I do think it's probably over revving a little bit because it doesn't have the fan on it. It's still sparking about as much as it was. I think we just keep moving forward, putting it together. I'm going to pull this cover back off. I'm going to tie wrap these wires back like they were, and we'll put the fan back on it on the other side, and we'll fire it back up, and we'll see with the load on it if it slows it down a hair. Then again, you turn your vacuum cleaner on. Sounds about the right pitch, doesn't it? You would think it would just run at 60 hertz. It'd be tied into that frequency. It wouldn't run faster or slower than it, but maybe a little bit of load would help, right? AC, it's not like, you know, DC varies with how much of a load that's on. The AC should just run at that frequency if it can. 3,600 RPM then, right? Yeah. It's kind of where we beat up on the threads to get that nut started. So there was a spacer. There's a spacer, a washer, a fan, another washer, and then like a shoulder bolt. It goes down. All right. Wants to spin the whole thing. Can I even grab the other end? I can't. Let's I'm gonna try impacting it. Does it look straight? See if the little rat-a-tat-tat will get it past those bad threads. Not sure that's straight though. We could take what's called a thread file. Go over it. Let's try it. I think I gotta grab the fan on the other side of it to keep it from turning. Or the cover that we put on. Probably just jam a screwdriver down through there. Let's take that off of there and see if we can try it now. Nope, just unspun the other end. Hack. I know I'm a hack. We got it now. I say yes. Question is, which way did that fan go? Like that? Or like that? I'm gonna say like that. And it's reverse. Now that cover that we cut, is that going to be a problem for us? Because I don't know if it's going to be tight enough to stay on there by its own. Where'd it go? There it is. So I cleaned it up. Got all the crap out of the fins. I would say, didn't we cut it right on one of the, try to put it back in the same place. I would say we cut it right there, right? I wonder if it sits down like a well anyway that would hold it. That would be my guess, that this thing sits in something and has screw holes holding it. Let's go popper back in the vise one more time. And spin it up. Are we good? We're drawing in a wire. I gotta get another tie wrap on a wire. There we go. One more tie wrap, I'll get that cover back on it and we'll fire it up again and see if we can let more smoke out. Let's try it again. Hopefully she stays. That might not be great. I also don't want to crush it, you know, I don't want to have the fan get... I think once it's going, it's okay. It's that initial shot where it wants to rip out. I should probably get the hot lead off of the vise. That might be a wise decision. Air, boy. let that run for a while. I don't know, it pumps a lot of air. Yeah, that wire is touching the vise. That's the hot one. I can let that go for a few minutes. The chances are we gotta go clean the inside of that because it's all packed up with paper. Oh, pretty good. I was trying to show how the air coming off of it, but it sucked it through the center of it. All right, it's been running for a little while. I'm gonna go take it apart. I'm gonna go clean that crap out of it, and maybe we'll start looking into what it would take to put this thing back together. That was dumb. So my guess is this is where the real entertaining part begins, because I don't know if I have all the parts. I don't know much about any of it at all. I think we just have to try to kind of see what lines up with what. This fit in there. So that probably does something like that. And this is just going to be one of those like government tests. If you could put the square peg in the round hole, we just keep picking away at stuff until we figure out what goes where. We kind of had this part of it, didn't we? I think that was something. The wires went out through that hole. But then after that, I think we were on our own. Those wires ran up to where the foot pedal was, the on-off switch. So I'm going to go work on chasing this stuff. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to start trying to chase some of this stuff, figure out what goes on where. Again, there's a whole pile of stuff over there yet we have to go figure. And yeah, we're missing one thing that might kind of suck. Apologize, I got the fan on, but it's hot in here. So I figured out pretty much that's screwed together to that housing, and then this whole piece drops in. I do see another O-ring though. We got one in there. I don't know what else would have. Got a whole pump assembly. So this is the drive for that front. So this drives this. Where would that all go? The wires tucked in with it. That's going to be underneath. So that should go something like that. Let's go. Gotta go on that little valve and break it. There we go. With that, my guess is that goes like that. This pump, where do you think this goes? Like that. There's like a receiver port. There it is. So that, take that out of the way, goes down in there. That. Then this one goes on. Another thing I haven't found, okay, we got an O-ring here, and we got this O-ring. This one was very similar to the motor. I wonder if it came off of that, like went along with it. How about where it sits down in the hole? I don't see room for 2 of these. Maybe like, yeah, like right there maybe. So that probably goes. And I guess that goes around like that. It's got a channel in it. I'm going to say that. You think inside? Yeah, it's got to go inside then. And the motor sat on that because that has to seal it for fan purposes, right? All the air has to get drawn in from here through this. No wonder why it got so dirty. Is that just drawing directly from these? Look how crudted up that is, all the hair and crap that's in there. Alright. I'm going to continue on chasing the little bits. We still have to figure out where this goes. What's your thoughts on that? Like that? Maybe? Maybe there's a cover. What screws down on the top of the whole thing? That, right? It's got to have kind of like the same channel that we saw. I'm going to pop that off one more time, see if there's any place for this, and I'm not going to bore you with trying to chase all the little bits. We got a general idea how it goes together, and we'll turn it back on and we'll see what happens. All right, my guess is taking this apart, this seal was under between those 2 covers and sealing this gap up. That's what I'm going with. Well, this is how far I got. I think we're good. Like that gray seal went up top there, took that back apart. I found where the spring went. Looks like a bunch of the stuff is controlled from that top cover. So we have a spot here for controls, a button here that needs to be pushed. The on-off switch is right there for making power to it. And all that stuff is tied into this cover. This one pushes on that. This little cover that opens up is the controller for the external hose. So that would go on here, and I think this up, yeah, it goes on. This piece that sits in the front, the hose would go on, and those would be the controllers for it. And then in the back, I think this is for when, if you stand it up, it probably stops the brushes. I think that's what it is. It takes it out of gear for the brush to turn on when you're, when you're not moving. And that one right there, you push down, pushes the on-off switch on and off. So I'm going to go throw this cover on. I don't see anything else that is missing that is stopping us from putting that on. We may be just shy a couple of screws, that's all. It's not the story of my life. We got 4, it looks like there's about 8 or so. So I'll go hunt in my stash for some other ones. That's to be expected. As long as we're not missing any like linkages or something I'm just not aware of, that would kind of suck. But let's go find out. And then I think there's a couple screws from the bottom that have to screw that cover up from the bottom side to hold it together. You good? Speak now. All right, I heard you. Let's go plug it in before we put the cover on. See what that does. Shouldn't do anything right now. I think it's in the off position. The drive is turning in the front too. Let's go hit it again. Yeah, so as you flip the handle up and down, the drive for the brushes in the front turns on and off. Good. Yeah, it's about 8 from the other side that I was missing. All the silver screws I put in there, there, and there. I believe we have it. And I have one black one left over, just in case. As we put something together, possibly I may have missed one here or there. All right, so we can go put this cover on. Does that need to get, let me go take that apart and clean that out. It's got a bunch of in it. The person was Dirty Blonde. Or it could have been a dog too, right? How's this coming apart? I figured there would be no tools needed for this one, because this would be something you take apart frequently. Yeah. Could have been a dog, like I said. It might be, I don't know what that is. Human? Non-human? Can we take, so the center one's the drive one. We just take it out, blow all that out of there. I can say it's probably a dog. Clean that up and put that back in. I think that would just snap right in there, right? Where does it draw? Oh, it draws up through there. And I would think this has, maybe that's like the, where's the jets where it shoots the fluid out of, you know, the shampoo. All right. You got this, I'm gonna go take a pick and we'll pick some of the crap out of that. Well, after these two tanks, I don't have anything else to put on it. I think that one just sits, locks on top, and then you have to flip it down for this one to go in. So this one's the receiver, right? Look right? Is it locked in? No. No, because there's a handle right there. Alright, so we locked in there. Let's go put some fluid in the upper one, at least some water. And see if anything happens. I don't know if I have any shampoo or anything here. You want to try dish detergent? Well, I wouldn't exactly call it a rug. Let's see what we get. I do have some soap in there. Okay, so we're gonna release it. We want to be on, we'll leave it on deep clean. And I guess the biggest thing is that fluid goes from here through it and up back to the top. I don't know if it's going to work with it without a it's not going to work without power. So I guess doing what's supposed to be doing. Again, that's, you know, being done on hard floors. Cleaned the bench pretty good. But yeah, it's like dirty water's going in the bottom of it, right? Yeah. So that must be coming from the top of it. I don't see anything leaking anywhere. Yeehaw! It's a good way to save a couple $100, huh? For just we screw around with the thing for an hour maybe. Let me, I don't have any carpet. I don't think. Let me go look. See if I have a throw rug or something upstairs I can bring down here. We can go try it on that. Yeah, because but it did draw up pretty much what it poured out, you know. Well, I found a little runner up there. It has like some, I don't know, it's gonna work. It's probably like grease or oil stains being in here. There's some stains on it in the middle. Doesn't look totally dirty, but let's go try that. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to stay just on one side of it or something, and see if there's a difference between the two. And let's give her a workout. I didn't think it was dirty until we cleaned it. Definitely did what it was supposed to do, huh? It's a night and day difference. You see how much mud we picked up in it? Oh yeah. So I knock it down. And all the dirty water that was in it. Ew. Yeah. Well, it does what it's supposed to. Let's go get that little handheld, plug it in, and see if it does anything. Yeah, those last couple passes, all I did was rinse. Try to pull out what was in there. Does this even go to this? Do we gotta? That's why I gotta push it down in the center. That part of it. We got a little trap door, which I would think we would go like that. No, you don't know, Todd. You would figure that opening should be that way, right? I can fix it, but I can't run it. I don't know. Well, I'm going to work on that. It's got two tabs it's got to drop in. So where's the tab? There's a tab there. All right. So there's a small tab there. Well, there's enough room for that to fit down inside there. Even the same brand? I don't know if that's the hose to that or not. Because there's just not enough depth for that to drop. It seems like it, but I don't know. Alright, I'm not worried about that. We're worried about that. We need to go shampoo some rugs in a car. But for now, I'm just happy the machine is working. Honey, happy anniversary. So you never got you nothing nice. So who said there's no serviceable parts inside that? That one bearing was it. It caused it, was that one bearing. I don't know if what, it looks like water got in. I don't even know where it ended up. Water got in it and it just kind of cooked the cage in it, and then that kind of smoked itself from there. There's a part of it. The other part went. Yeah, the bearing was on the floor, so that was it. That locked up, and there's, like I said, usually like a plastic cage that keeps the balls separate, and it looks like that had melted itself out too. There's like little bits and remnants kind of still inside it, but that was a failure. It's at about $1. It's free for us because I had it laying around, but I would say that's definitely a good recovery. Something fun to work on, something a little different. I got to kind of take it easy. My neck's been bothering me, so I'm trying to work on stuff that's, you know, on the bench and a little bit more ergonomically correct instead of crawling up under a car and that kind of thing. But I'm happy with it. I'm gonna go bring. Now we don't have one. We do now. All right, guys. With that, I'm gonna sign off. Thank y'all for hanging out with me, having a little bit of fun, finding old junk and trying to resuscitate it. And it seems like we had a success. Till then, I'll see you later.